is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
It's your boy Miguel Z with the Value of Wrestling New Japan Rebound Podcast. I've got a guest for you folks at StocktonCon.
What up, everybody? AJ Kirsch here, the voice and the host of StocktonCon. The value of wrestling is awesome, so subscribe on YouTube. Scan the QR code right here, now. Subscribe, check it out.
There we go.
You'll be glad you did.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, man, shout out to Value of Wrestling. I'm right here with the Big O's, San Jose. We gonna shut the shit down. Love and respect, though, right? Value of Wrestling. Hello.
Man, thank you, brother. Thank
Oh, you didn't know? Then where were you earlier today when we told you we'd be here? And we'd be here live in living color. To do this all over again, we were here earlier today. And now we are back to cover AEW's Revolution for 2024. This is your post show for your AEW Revolution pay-per-view event extravaganza. This is the Value of Wrestling. This is us right here on YouTube. We are back again twice in one day. Don't you all feel super privileged that you got to see these beautiful faces one more time before the end of the night? Hey, we even made it before it became Monday in some places. But hey, we are here, we are alive, and let's get into it. Firstly, let me introduce you to the man, the myth, the legend, the man who was once the greatest. I was going to go over somebody who was the greatest defender of AEW, and now he's just wishing for something. Go on, big old way. You can make pro wrestling experts and big captains get a whole bunch of cheers tonight because they get into a current the one big away. And of course, you know me, it's me on the big time, and I'm here to hold it all down and run the show, drive the car, and take it where it's going. And we're here with your post-show review for AEW Revolution 2024. Was it revolutionary? I don't know, but we're going to talk about it. Go ahead and vote in the poll above. It looks like the majority of everybody at this point in time thought it was pretty good. I thought it was another average pay-per-view. There was a couple good matches. And then Sting's farewell send-off was filled with highs and lows, big pops, low pops. It was what it was. It was what you should expect. And it was nothing horrible. It wasn't anything over the top great. It did what it needed to do. And now we have more questions to ask, but we'll get into that. But after, 5 hours or whatever it was, we got done at 9 o'clock. We started at 3:30, so that's 6.5 hours. But no, well, no, never mind. It was 5.5 hours of professional wrestling. There we go. In one night. Of course, we started off on the pre-show with everybody's favorite team, the super stable, the greatest stable in professional wrestling, as the announcers told us. The greatest super star team, I might get in the Bullet Club, is who did the Bullet Club roll over and die recently, like they don't exist anymore or something. But anywho, we had the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, Anthony Bowens, Max Caster, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, Billy Gunn, and Safety Scissors, Jay White. They were coming out, and their fantasy, of course, Max Caster again, after I believe it was on Collision, either last week or whatnot, screwed up his rap midway. So I don't know if he's doing a new gimmick where he starts rapping and then forgets his lines or forget what he's going to say or doesn't know how to freestyle anymore. I don't know if this is going to work in the favor of any of this, because that's what got them over. And if you start screwing with that, you start screwing with the whole thing. So we'll have to see where this goes. They're here to take on the team. And mind you, I know this is going to hurt a lot of people's heads. You're going to get really confused. And I have no reasons to give you, but I'm going to name off some people, and you're going to go, what? And I know of the first three we know. It shouldn't be too bad. It was Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Saddam Singh. Of course, Sanjay Dutt came out here looking like he came from Boys in the Hood, looking like he was playing the role of little Jimmy in Boys of the Hood. You know, I guess he thought he played for Death Row Records or something. I don't know. He came out as always red gear and his little bandana with all DD. I don't know what was up with Sanjay Dutt. Of course, Karen Jarrett, everybody's non-favorite female aspect was there, unless you're Mr. Clarke. I mean, he has a kind fondness of her somewhere in his heart for whatever reason. I don't know. Not my thing. Of course, I got the team up with a team of Mark Quinn and say Cassidy, Private Party. And Private Party has been trying to recruit a third Private Party member so they can start competing for Triple Crown. or the 3-man titles, the 6-man titles. They worked with, I guess, on Rampage with Matt Sydal, or Collision recently had worked with Matt Sydal, and that didn't work out. So tonight, the man was getting his trial run as a part of Private Party, Willie Mack, who looked like the most lost thing in this whole show. He didn't fit in any of it. And, yeah. So this is how we started off. This was a cluster much of everything. It just fell apart, and everybody was in there. We got Scissors Beat Timbers at one point. We got a 310 to Yuma at the point. Everybody was out there. We got a double choke slam. You had Saddam Singh have both Billy Gunn and Jay White at one point in a choke slam. Jay White stepped to Saddam Singh. Then Billy Gunn came up and put his hands down Jay Lethal's pants to pull him back. It was kind of weird to keep him from going after Saddam Singh. They got caught. Goozled right into the choke slam, and then Jay White walked right over there and got goozled into the choke slam. Eventually, Jay White got a big win by hitting the Blade Runner on Willie Mack, and the match went 12 minutes, 22 seconds, way too long for any of this. And Jay White got on the mic for another extra, 10 minutes to say Greensboro, and I can't tell you who said Greensboro more tonight. Was it Jay White, was it the announcers, or was it Sting? I mean, everybody was talking about Greensboro tonight. Greensboro this, Greensboro. I mean, Jay White was like Greensboro was one of his favorite cities. I don't know why. I don't know how many great matches Jay White's had in Greensboro. Maybe Mr. Z can give us some answers on that, because they said it's one of his favorite cities. He runs down the card, pumps up the company, he reminds us who he is, and he might handle some big business of his own. So he's going to do something on March 13th at Dynamite and have big business. And if you're not down with that, he's got 2 words for you: guns up. And everybody loves the Acclaimed, and we all sat kind of in stunning shocker going, what? So he's going to handle big business. We don't know against Sue or why, but yeah, he's announcing himself for a singles match suddenly on big business. And I don't know if anybody cares. You're kind of like, what? I mean, if they would have given us a who, maybe it would have been more impressive, but he's just going to show up. So yeah. Gentlemen, let's talk about this opening match, if you please. Oh, Mr. Z's got his finger up. He's ready to go. He wants to say something. So, Mr. Z, you can take the floor. We can talk about your buddy back there. You know, you need to change that sign. It's got to say safety scissors.
Nope.
Safety blade.
Off, I don't need to take this off, which was a good thing. You looked really good. Finally. I was going to say, other than the fact that they had to show them strutting with Double J, it was pointless.
A 7 or an 8-man strut, I believe. Even Jay that's not Jay Duck on that.
I was why, and then your his point of big business. Why do I have the feeling they're going to run it back with him in Kingston?
Why do we need him? Why do we need him with Kingston again?
Because Kingston was the man that kicked him out of New Japan.
I have a bad feeling he's either gonna get fed to Ospreay or fed to Okada.
Either way, there's no point.
Mr. Clarke, what did you think of this 1,900-man battle royal? It was 300 in live in person? Yes, no, go ahead.
The only WTF moment beyond the match itself was Jay White trying to cut a face promo.
Dude, this fool said Greensboro. More people like Greensboro. Oh my God, Jay White going for the cheap pop.
My best guess is Jay White was around Greensboro during OG Ring of Honor times. Because I can't think of any other point that he'd even be around.
Yeah, that's where I was like, okay.
Like maybe that point when he was still the young boy.
Pre-chaos.
Jay White was
pre-chaos.
Wasn't as cool as Bullet Club. Jay White, just my opinion.
Yeah.
It was a match. We had to suffer through it. That's my thoughts.
That wasn't a match. That was just a cluster of chaos. I don't know how you do 12 men in the ring. It doesn't make sense. You know, it's going to break down an AEW referees are the worst referees in the business.
Well, AEW referees can't even do 1-on-1s, let alone 6-on-6.
Anyways, we were backstage with Lexi Nair, and she's with Doc Sampson telling us about how bad Orange Cassidy's hurt. Orange says he's going to do it anyways, but he doesn't want his friends out there because he doesn't want to see them get hurt anymore, so he'd rather just go out there by himself and no friends. So if he loses, it just kind of makes himself sound like a moron. I loved Orange Cassidy in the beginning, but now I'm just kind of over him. I don't know if it's because he's just there all the time. Now it's feeling like he's being shoved down my throat, or if it's just because they let him talk. Originally, when he didn't talk, really didn't say anything, it was okay. When they started to let him talk a little bit, it was okay. But now it's like all the time, it's like, oh, I'll do it on my own. I don't know. I mean, he's annoying me. He's getting on that level of like Napoleon Dynamite when they talk. Like,
I've still never watched that movie purposely because the
How
commercials
dare
used to
you?
irritate me.
How dare you put Orange Cassidy and Napoleon Dynamite?
oh,
in the
tell
same
me that he doesn't start feeling like he's Orange, the Napoleon Dynamite. I don't want my friends to say, just like, I can do it. Or what was the name of the guy from Mad TV? The guy that was, that played the kid. I can do it.
Oh, Stewart?
Yes, there you go.
Yes.
Orange Cassidy is the steward of AEW at this point.
So that makes
I can do it.
Tony Khan the mom.
Makes Tony Khan some type of booch. We got a video package for the return of the bastard Pac. Very confusing. Half the time it was him, half the time he was wearing a beanie and it flickered back and forth, and I don't know. I don't know if I care.
Still there.
I guess they let him out of the asylum, out of it, wherever he was,
Well,
I guess
two people
get-
out of the asylum. Get it?
I guess Abyss let him out of the asylum so he could return the rest. So Pac's back after disappearing all the time, like he always has. There, from there, we have the tag match of Will Nightingale versus Chris Statlander. They're there with Stokely Hathaway. They're taking on Sky Blue and Julia Hart. It was a decent match, but again, it was the same as every other match we've seen between these women, whether it's 1-on-1, 2-on-2, whatever. It was just your average match in the end. It's Dr. Bomb on Sky to get the 3. This match went 13 minutes, 31 seconds. It is what it was. I mean, if you like these women, or at least like to watch these women, then I'm sure it was good showing. Otherwise, it was just, we've seen this match so many times, I don't know how you can be really interested. Sit there and watch them do pretty much the same, just reverse. This time, Will Nightingale and Chris Statlander won. Last time, Sky Blue won. Next week, Julia Hart will win. I guess Will Nightingale is going to be pushed for the next contender for the TBS Championship, is what this is really all building to. So, it's one of those mixed match pieces. Take out a piece, put this piece in here, put 2 pieces together, put 3 pieces. Sky Blue, as they announced, is not officially a part of the House of Black. She's just
No, does Sherlock?
she's just associated with Julia Hart. Like they made this big point to make this whole. She's not really a part of the House of Black. Blah blah blah. I'm like, is Julia Hart even a part of the House of Black anymore? I don't know. She's kind of over and beyond them because they're buried. They just got buried on Rampage or Collision? Yeah, Collision, because they just all 3 got beaten down by Mark Briscoe with a nail. So all 3 members of the House of Black couldn't beat Mark Briscoe with a nail. Julia Hart is like way above them, sadly now. Julia Hart is the highlight. If she's a part of the House of Black, even Bernie King is kind of like, hey, okay. Come in, starting with Mr. Clarke. What you thought of this match?
Oh, I enjoyed it, both from an aesthetic point of view, as we talk about from time to time, but even just from an in-ring point of view. Like, I like watching all 4 of these women, so having them mix it up, I thought it was fine. It was a decent match. I wish they would progress the storyline into something more, give us something more to go on, and so I understand why it's not as big of a deal to you, because they didn't do that tonight.
No, it's a good match, but we just seen the same thing over and over again. It's just, it's rinse and repeat. It's like it doesn't push forward. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't add anything. They're not bringing out a new move.
That clusterfuck,
Yes.
clusterfluff, sorry. This was still a nice palate cleanser in comparison.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Mr. Z, your thoughts?
It was a match.
Okay.
Like you said, if this is what folks wanted to see, that's great. I mean, like you said, it was kind of like rinse, repeat. Let's do
Yeah.
it again. But
Yeah,
anything
it's
to burn
just-
time, I guess, right?
Exactly. I mean, this is a match that you could have put on Dynamite or a Collision, which would probably boost your ratings and been interesting on a pay per view. On a pay per view, it seems kind of lost, and on the pre show, it seems like it's lost, but you don't care. So it's hard to get
It
excited.
wasn't even on the pay per view. It was on a pre show, which was even worse.
Well, that's why I said it was assigned to a pay per view, but it was actually on the pre show, so it's like it's a lost match, but you don't care that it's even here because you're just throwing it out there. Pre shows so much. I mean, these matches could happen on TV and been fine. Anyways, to the main event tonight, to the AEW Revolution 2024. We start off with the AEW TNT Championship match. Christian Cage out here with the patriarchy. That is Nick Wayne's Mother Wayne, Nick Wayne, and Killswitch all out here to be here for Christian. And Daniel Garcia is here. Dancing Queen, as he is, comes out and gets in the ring. Nothing big to start this off. Christian works and acts like his ankle got injured at one point, but gets an eye poke. Afterwards, we get a Lex Luger-esque flex from Christian. Eventually, Killswitch gets involved. I mean, pretty much everybody at some point in time got involved in this. Eventually, Daddy Magic showed up and to help out and started beating down Killswitch until Killswitch spazzed out on him. Eventually, Garcia gets another fall to Christian Nick Wayne with some interference, and Killswitch gets a 3 count. I don't know how Killswitch gets a 3 count. But anyways, Christian Cage retains the title at 16 minutes, 47 seconds. I don't think anybody was really interested in this match. They haven't really done anything to make Daniel Garcia seem like a real threat to Christian. I thought maybe we were going to have the return of Adam Copeland because he was kayfabe. Supposedly he's injured. I don't know if he's kayfabe injured or seriously injured or what. I thought maybe we're going to get Adam Copeland to come down at some point to interfere. We didn't get that. We got Daddy Magic, who was beating up on Killswitch, and it just kind of looked, I don't know. Didn't help Killswitch if he's getting beaten down by Daddy Magic, who's not even, he can't really take Daddy Magic seriously. He's great on a mic. He's great on commentary. In the ring, you're still kind of like, he hasn't done anything really impressive as of yet. As much as Daniel Garcia is just kind of floundering here, there's a lot of. They built Daniel Garcia to look like a badass when they originally were having between wrestling and sports entertaining. They were doing a lot with him being a badass, and then they put him in the sports entertainment group with Christian. He still seemed okay, but then he got into this dancing series, and now he's lost all. He's all over the place. He's been with the FTR. He's been with this person, that person. He's like this low grade mid carder that you're throwing in a title match that he didn't earn, and. Other than that, there wasn't a whole lot to it. You knew he was going to win, and Christian wins a title that's, to me, really as important as it used to be. People say Christian's still on the greatest title run he is, but I'm like, I think it got hurt when he lost the title and rebounded it. And the fact that they never really pushed anything forward afterwards until they needed to get to this pay-per-view. Then they're like, oh yeah, we got to remember to put Christian on the pay-per-view, so we got to create some chaos. And again, this Adam Copeland today, Daniel Garcia, which went to a draw. And then they took out Christian with the concerto, or they took out Edge with his 100th concerto he's taken. And they gave Daniel Garcia this match, so it wasn't, I don't know. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on Daniel Garcia versus Christian Cage?
The sad part is Daniel Garcia has so much potential, but they're not booking it the way they should to make him look good. I'm not even mad at the dancing gimmick if they have him be serious in the ring and showcase him in the ring and actually get him some legitimate wins in the ring. That's like, oh, it's not rocket scientist. It's booking 101.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it would bother me so bad with the dancing gimmick if I felt he got in the ring and backed up what he could do. You know, when you get a joking gimmick like that, where you do this, if you get in the ring and you're a badass, then you're like, okay, cool, you have a reason to kind of dance and celebrate. But when you go out there and you're just mid, yeah. Mr. Z, your thoughts?
I'm right there with you. As far as like Daniel Garcia, we know he can work and we know he's good at what he does, but they haven't been able to let him showcase it. They're much more on him dancing with everybody. the match itself felt pointless to me. That title doesn't mean anything. I feel like it was ruined with that debacle of the kill switch incident after he dropped it to Copeland.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's like I said, if they can give it, like you said, if they can give us a reason, Garcia can be a badass. Yeah, dance all you want, but he's no DOS Wonder Kid. Just saying.
I mean, even if he get close to being a normal Smiley, I might be able to accept it.
Well, that's the sad part. When Norman Smiley was made to look more badass than Daniel Garcia, and he was older at the time too.
Yes. Anyways, we moved into the Continental Crown Championship match, and Kingston defending his Triple Crown Continental Crown against Bryan Danielson. Continental Crown rules evolved. I don't know if we've heard about these since the tournament, but tonight Tony made sure we all knew that this was going to be under Continental Crown rules, which means there would be no interference. Which I'm kind of like, why are we worried about that with Kingston and Bryan? I don't think either of them are really going to bring anybody. I don't see the Blackpool Combat Club really trying to interfere on the behalf of Bryan in this match. I was kind of like, why are we worried about that rule being like, oh, there'll be no outside interference and everybody's barred from ringside? I'm like, okay. He dedicated this match to Jun Akiyama. I said that right. Fans, the things about tonight. With this match, we got Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson doing what they do really good. The fans were really split down the middle. We got Bryan, Eddie chants throughout the whole match, and Nigel McGuinness was probably the biggest fool on commentary because this fool his issues with Bryan Danielson. I hope he gets clear to get in the ring so they can do whatever they need to do to settle the score because he is just like the biggest fan in Greensboro tonight for Eddie Kingston was Nigel McGuinness. Nigel McGuinness was the biggest supporter of Eddie Kingston tonight, and that's a cold, hard fact. Nigel McGuinness was just ridiculous on the commentary team tonight. It was just, it's funny, and then it's almost, there's parts of times where it gets a little cringy because he gets just too far in it. You're just like, okay, we get, like Bryan Danielson, but I mean, this fool is just all over the place. This was a good, solid match. I mean, Eddie and Bryan did what they needed to do here to deliver. Bryan had choked out Eddie recently on Collision, I think last week's Collision. And coming into this, I think we all agreed that Eddie was probably going to win this. Eddie eventually got the Busaki knee, the high stack powerbomb, and got the 3. This match went 19 minutes, 43 seconds. After the match, Eddie wants his handshake. Nigel informs us all how much the handshake means to Ring of Honor and how Bryan helped build that company. And Bryan eventually does shake Eddie's hands to the shock of Nigel, Excalibur, everybody. And then there was a great vignette in the back where they were both being taped up and Eddie Kingston being his emotional self. That is like, I like it times, but sometimes it's like, okay, I don't want to see Eddie Kingston be overly emotional every time he gets a big win. Like, I get it to an extent, but he basically said in that he wants the respect from the boys. He got it from Bryan. Bryan respects him. I don't know if Eddie Kingston will be getting added to the Blackpool Combat Club after this. They left it kind of like in a weird place. But Eddie Kingston got another big win with the titles that don't really feel like they mean anything. Gets the Continental title crown, that whole thing after the tournament's over. Eddie got his big flowers. He's defended the titles a couple times in AEW, mostly all over the other place. And tonight he got another big moment. He got Bryan. He got the handshake. A good movement forward. But I feel Tony's going to drop the ball on continuing the momentum with Kingston going anywhere forward. So it's kind of hard to buy in these titles. I love Kingston in this win here. It was a good match. But it's just like it's hard to get really invested in these titles and what's going to go forward because we haven't seen them do anything. Take Eddie and Bryan alone. Take the titles out of it. This is a great match. These two tore it down, and you got to love these two. But when you have the titles in it, you're like, I just don't care about the titles because they haven't really done anything with them, and it doesn't feel like they're going to do anything with them after this. So, Mr. Z, your thoughts? Eddie's a guy you've known for a long time, so not personally known, but known of his.
Yeah, definitely. First off, hats off to him. That was a hell of a match. For a minute there, I forgot that there was even a belt on the line because they just went toe to toe. there 3 belts, whatever. They made me forget about it for a little bit. They made me suspend my belief for a little bit just because of the work they were putting in. Nigel, biggest mark in history.
No,
But,
you can't say he's the biggest mark in history. He was the biggest Eddie fan tonight. The biggest mark in history is the guy that was backing Gorilla at AEW shows. That's the biggest mark in history. Period.
We'll talk about that later because I've been getting blown up over this media scrum from someone who's actually there.
Okay.
but it was a great match.
Yes.
They tore the house down as expected. There was no BS, no games, no nothing. The right man won. The handshake, I get it, but I could have done without it. But overall, it was a great match.
I think the handshake was key to this match because I think it allows Eddie to move on. In this, Eddie can go somewhere else and not worry about the Blackpool Combat Club and Bryan Danielson. He may get involved. They had a backstage scene that was kind of interesting. So we'll see, but at least it feels like that story's wrapped. It's done. We can move on to something else. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts?
See, what I want to comment on, though, is Nigel McGuinness talking during this match. Because what you have to understand is, and let's put this in old school WWE terms, the rivalry that Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness had would be the equivalent of Brett and Shawn. Like, there was a big rivalry. So, the fact that Nigel's still in character was still saying, hey, it's all about Kingston tonight, because, F. Danielson. I found that hilarious, and I didn't even get to see most of that feud in the original Ring of Honor. But thanks to the internet and clips and things of that nature,
I totally forgot when he was blowing it up like that. I was like, okay, and I was like, wait a minute, oh snap! I totally forgot that they went toe to toe for so long in the original.
Because it was Nigel McGuinness as the pure champion against Bryan Danielson as the ROH World Champion, constantly butting heads.
Yes. And hopefully AEW gives us some of that story somewhere down the line to kind of fill into people who don't know what's going on. And that's the other thing. If you don't know why Nigel McGuinness has a dislike for Bryan Danielson, in character at least, so much,
right.
It kind of gets lost on you. And it's where it can kind of be like, okay, dude, I get your point, but it's good sucking, So, I mean, they need to bring some of that more to light. They've started here and there, but I'm like, okay, let's tell the story.
Now, as far as the match itself, fantastic. If you're only watching this, post-review show and then actually see the pay-per-view, it is worth your time to go and see this match.
Yes.
It was that good, in my opinion.
You can skip everything before this, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well,
and
if you don't like, watching the women's tag match,
Well, it was good, but I mean, it was just
serious wrestling as far as making it believable and being worth paying any kind of money for a pay-per-view. This is a match that's in the win column.
Yes. Yeah. No, because you can skip most of what happened before this and almost everything that happened after this until Ospreay and Takeshita. Which brings us to the next clusterfuck of the night, because if you don't have one, you have to have two, because Tony Khan has to have, the New Japan style of like, okay, I have a whole bunch of people in my roster now, you just got to throw them all out there in the ring. We got the All-Star Scramble match, which was supposed to be originally the meet your meat match, the meat madness, the madness match, the match of me in this. I don't know. And, but unfortunately, because Keith Lee and Miro were injured, he didn't have enough big boys to fight. Like, he couldn't find enough big boys to fight in his company. I mean, why not have Paul White walk out there and get a brought Folly Body and Captain Sam for a night? Anywho, so we got the All-Star match. So, the All-Star match, we got Powerhouse Hobbs out there, we got Lance Archer out there, you got Hook was the first one to come out there, Brian Cage came out there, then Wardlow came out there with all of the Undisputed Era for the first time in a while. Even Adam Cole was there, and then Magnus and Dante Martin came out, and then the last fool that came out was Chris Jericho, building Wardlow to be this monster beast, and he doesn't get the last entrance. I think that's very wrong. This is where, even though I was pretty much assuming Wardlow was going to win this match, I was like, why is Jericho getting the big last match? I know everybody sings along, but I would have been put Jericho the first one to come out. Let Wardlow be the last one out and make him feel special, because they didn't do anything this match to make him feel any more special. Like, this whole match was set up so all these guys had an opportunity at an AEW World Title shot. Whoever won this was going to get an AEW title shot, and it was a cluster mess. It was all the big boys threw out the little guys, and you had big meat madness, and all the big meat madness got thrown out of the ring, so all the little guys could get in there. We could have little meat madness. This commentating is stupid, and wants to go, oh, little meat madness. This was just a messy, unnecessary match. It was a bunch of spot monkey bullcrap. And Wardlow won at the end with the last ride powerbomb to Dante Martin. So all the people in this ring that Wardlow could have beat: a Bryan Cage, a Powerhouse Hobbs, a Lance Archer, a Jericho. They let him pin Dante Martin. So now Wardlow's got a world title match against the winner tonight and in the future. So I'm assuming in Dynasty, Wardlow will probably be the number one contender. He's being built as the guy that's supposed to win it for the Undisputed Kingdom, and then eventually give it to Adam Cole. He's just going to hand over the title like we were playing. I mean, just Tony Khan's like, hold on, okay, but we haven't played this. You play in a while. Let's just go rehash this one. Pinnacle, Undisputed Kingdom. Tell me the difference. Hey, you didn't have Wardlow come out last, where you could have had a big moment here. Yes, I know people want to say you're along with Jericho. Jericho should have been first. Wardlow should have been last. The Undisputed Kingdom should have been that last group coming out. You should have made Wardlow look special, look like a threat coming into this match. Then you had all these guys in here, and you choose Dante Martin to be the one that gets pinned by Wardlow. When nobody in this match is going to... Anybody in this match could have taken a pin, and it wouldn't have affected anything. It would have affected nothing because, well, maybe not Hook. Hook probably was the only one that I'll take out and say, probably don't want to pin Hook. Hook is special. I don't even know why Hook was in this match, but I mean, why couldn't he pin to Chris Jericho? It wouldn't hurt Jericho to lose Wardlow. At least Wardlow would have felt a little more impressive than pinning a Dante Martin. This match didn't do anything for me. I'm not excited. They need to really give Wardlow some challenges to make him feel like he is a threat to Samoa Joe, Swerve, Hangman Page, whoever the champion may be. Right now, Wardlow still feels like a joke to me. Now, I know a lot of people think Wardlow's doing the greatest work in his life, and if you feel that way, that's great, but I don't see it. I feel like we're just rinse, repeat. And who has he really beaten on the second coming? Who has he beat? Mr. Clarke, your thoughts?
Well, the silver lining here is, at least compared to just squashing some jobbers, at least you have a little bit of name power in this match. And yes, you got the pin on Dante Martin. I understand to some folks that doesn't mean a bloody thing, because that's kind of the equivalent of pinning a jobber.
Yeah.
But at least, again, it's better than what they've been having them do as far as TV matches.
Yeah.
Where they go from here and how they attempt to elevate him again, we'll see. I don't have the greatest faith like you. I have zero confidence, just like you. But
Like, this doesn't, I mean,
you got to look at the silver lining sometimes. Have a little bit of hope, even when Mr. Khan doesn't give us any.
but that if it wasn't a rinse repeat, I might be able to give a little more hope. But since I feel like we're just rinse repeating the same story with Wardlow, I'm like, Mr. G, your thoughts?
Okay, some takeaways real quick. I got a couple videos sent to me during this match. The first one, it was only the lower levels singing Judas. Nobody else in the stands was singing it. That's why that's why you can hear it. Why chant "Meet Forever"? I don't know. That was another big one.
I think that's the hardcore AEW fans.
Yeah, exactly. They were, every time the big boys slapped together, they would chant "meet." So we got our meet match. So there you go. But I don't know what they're doing with Wardlow. If you had him pin Jericho, okay, there's small rub, let him move on. But there's nothing you can do with him. They wrecked him. He's done. There's nothing else you can do. He needs to go away and find a new gimmick.
And if we throw this back, I think Mr. Clarke talked to us off air about how I believe Big E was the one who started this meat chant. And I think even then, when that first came out, I complained about, okay, because it was funny, but I'm like, this is going to be bad. This is going to, everybody's like, but it's funny. I'm like, yeah, but wait until it gets somewhere else, and this is going to become a bad joke. And AEW has a bad habit of taking something that's originally funny and then just driving it into the ground until it's like, okay,
Yeah,
Meet
I
that
had someone.
horse.
Yeah, well, like I said, I had someone confirm. I said, "Hey, you're there." Were they really chanting "meat forever"? And lo and behold, they were
Well,
chanting "meat
and it
forever."
definitely didn't sound like they were singing Judas until they cut the music and they came up. But if you're saying only the bottom rung, that really makes sense why it didn't feel like Judas was really being sang that loud.
Yeah.
From there, we went into the AEW International Championship match: Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. OC definitely injured. That was the big storyline here. The same story with Orange Cassidy. Can he overcome one more with all the injuries he suffered? Can he stay on top one more time? And he has the longest combined reign of any champion in history. He has the most wins and title defenses ever, like 43 of any champion in AEW history. And in the end, the vicious end of heartache, we get a pinfall. Roderick Strong wins at 12 minutes 42 seconds. And we have a new international champion after the match. Mike Bennett and Taven jump in the ring and put Roderick Strong on his shoulders. He won over Yokozuna, but didn't win the world title. At least Roderick Strong won the title here. They danced around until a crazy fan jumped into the ring. Everybody was in shock. They didn't know what this fan was going to do, and then they realized on the announce table it was Kyle O'Reilly. So we don't know what rehab center he broke out of to show up. I don't know if Hangman Adam Page finally let him out of the tent that he had him captured in, but this man looked like he was fresh out of the wild something, looking like a crazed. I mean, he would probably give Mick Foley nightmares with that sort of deranged and confused as he looked when he got in the ring. He looked like he was going to attack him, then he didn't. Then he hired Roderick Strong. They gave him a Undisputed Kingdom shirt. He handed it, then he put it back on Roderick Strong. Then he whispered sweet nothings in Roderick's ears, and then he walked out of the ring looking like the craziest lunatic. And here's the question to ask in the poll. Did you know when he got in the ring that it was Kyle O'Reilly, or did you just think some fan jumped the barricade? That'll be the big question of the night. Roderick Strong, your new international champion. I think we saw that coming. Weirdly enough, they didn't really feel like they celebrated this big victory for the Undisputed Kingdom. Like, you didn't have Wardlow come out there. You didn't have Adam Cole out there. You didn't have anything that really celebrated this moment. I guess we'll have to wait for Dynamite. Maybe that's where they'll have the coronation of this. But I might kind of like, after all this talk and they officially got this title, as long as we waited for this match to happen, they didn't really have any fallout. What we got was Kyle O'Reilly, again looking like a deranged fan. Mr. Z, what did you think of the International Championship match? And the return of Kyle, I guess the return of Kyle, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly thought maybe Orange Cassidy was going to win just because that's how he's been booked lately. But I mean, you give Roddy the win, no complaints at all. I'm very, very scared that we're going to see Orange Cassidy in the title picture here pretty soon, moving forward.
Which title picture? Remember, there's like 10 titles.
The
gotta be
AEW,
Pacific.
The main title.
What's the main title? Remember, AEW, there's no title rankings. They're all equal to one another.
I know what he means.
Oh, yeah, here we go. I'm afraid that he's going to be challenging Samoa Joe at some point.
Okay, there we go.
And I'm not going to see that. Kyle O'Reilly looked like he escaped from the mental institution. It was horrible. Like he was fresh out of the jail. Like he's been locked up for a while.
It looked like he was like the only Oompa Loompa that escaped the chocolate factory.
Other than that, it is what it is. I wasn't really thrilled about this one.
Mr. Clarke, your thoughts? Your 2 cents.
I was happy to see flashes of original Ring of Honor Roderick Strong as the Messiah of the Backbreaker. That man kept giving Orange backbreaker after backbreaker to let him know who you are. Let him know. And for an Orange Cassidy match, it was as good as it was going to get. Just because, as it's been said, it's been a lot of rinse and repeat, even for Orange Cassidy. So I'm happy to see where they go from here with the international title with Roderick Strong. I'm not having big expectations, but I'm still kind of hopeful that I'm hopeful there's going to be a bit of a silver lining. That now that we have a title change, maybe Orange Cassidy can go do something else. Hopefully, Roderick can go do something else, and we can get something fresh and new.
And how do you feel about the deranged fan that jumped in the ring? I mean, Kyle O'Reilly.
At first, I didn't recognize who it was. It took me a moment, but looking into the eyes, looking at the facial features, like, oh, okay. I got just before the announcer go, oh, it's Kyle O'Reilly. It took me a moment, but I got it. It makes sense. Some people I know are not really happy that like we didn't get anything out of this. It wasn't like one momentum or another, whether he joined the Undisputed Kingdom or not. Like I was saying off air, I think that point was just to build anticipation towards the next Dynamite.
Yeah, we shall see where this all goes. But the sad part is it's really bad when you have a return and the person doesn't get any pop.
But he also has a bit of a different look. Like he didn't have long hair last time we saw him, so
no.
Plus that straggly look, is a bit different for him.
Anyways, from there we got the tag match: FTR next, Harwood Cashmere versus Blackpool Combat Club, John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. And my notes went bye for a minute, so we'll see what happens here. I don't have it. Okay, the match went 21 minutes 47 seconds. When John got Dax into the choke and choked him out. This match is what we've seen between these teams for the last few months now. It is what it is. I was kind of shocked because the whole time the commentary team wanted to remind us that Dax Harwood and Clash Wheeler lived up the road in Asheville, North Carolina, that they're North Carolina natives, that they're from North Carolina. And in case you didn't know, Dax and Cash grew up and were from North Carolina. And if you missed that, I just want you to remember that they're from North Carolina, just up the road from where they were in Greensboro, North Carolina. They were from Asheville, North Carolina, which is just down I-40 west in North Carolina. And so I really thought that they were going to give FTR the hometown boys because they were over. They were getting chants and cheers for all their moves where the Blackpool Combat Club was pretty much getting booed. So I really thought FTR was going to win this match to give the hometown boys a pop. Let the crowd go home happy with this match. They didn't. Blackpool Combat Club is now officially a tag team, I guess is what this is all set up in the end. This is John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli's arrival in the tag team division. So the whole point of all this was to make Claudio and Moxley feel like a tag team. And I'm like, well, they're the Blackpool Combat Club. How do they not already? They're stable. They're a tag team. I mean, that's just common sense. So I don't know why they needed a match per se to solidify them in the tag team. But I guess, what'll happen later. I guess we'll see these fools in the tag team tournament here shortly. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts?
Well, before the match, or as Moxley and Castagnoli are coming down, looking like the Road Warriors, that was a little bit of a pop. I mean, it was a little bit interesting. Yeah. Even though tonight should have been more about Sting than WCW, Sting did have an association, with the Road Warriors at times. Did plenty of 6-man tags and 8-man tags with them. So I thought that was kind of funny without being directly Sting related.
Mm-hmm.
The match was okay, but I was looking for FTR to win, to be honest, just because to me it's like they are the tag team, and they haven't had, a really good tag team win in a bit.
Yeah. FTR has not had a good win. Mr. Z, your thoughts?
I would have been settled with FTR going over. It would have made sense. Mm-hmm. Like, they plugged the fact that they're literally from there. They're plugging them of not,
After that match, they did that.
But you get what I'm saying. Like, they just,
no, I know.
It should have been them. It would have made more sense. But, this is Tony Combo 101, so it doesn't matter.
The fans were way behind them throughout that match. And, And half this match, the commentary team had to remind us they were from North Carolina, so. You know who else is from North Carolina? Well, they're not from North Carolina, but you know who else lives in the Asheville area of North Carolina? Adam Copeland.
Mm-hmm.
who wasn't on the show. Anyways, the highlight of the night for Mr. Clarke, ladies and gentlemen, the highlight of the night is the AEW Women's Championship match. The timeless one, Toni Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo. And we started off with Deonna Purrazzo coming down. I don't know if anything. It was just, this felt like just another AEW. She didn't feel like, I don't feel like she got a pay-per-view entrance here. I don't know if maybe it was more in the relevance of, did her entrance feel better? Did it feel more of her style, or was it just,
equivalent of a TV match
entrance,
really?
I just wish she had something more, because Toni Storm got a big entrance, because first we thought we're going back to old Toni Storm. We got the old, the music, the look, and we had somebody come out, and then we realized it was Mariah May.
Mm-hmm.
It's Toni Storm before she became timeless. The black and white hit, and we got Toni Storm out here with Luther. And again, this was a decent, solid match. Nothing to greatly write home about. 12 minutes and 17 seconds, so it wasn't a high priority for time on the card. In the end, Luther distracts Aubrey, Mariah distracts, and Storm hits the Storm Zero and retains her title. After the Venus de Milo got locked in, the two helped Storm come out of it. The timeless one retains the title. And that's it. There's not much to write home about it. I don't think there was anything really spectacular in this match. It was another one of those Toni Storm matches that we've come to know, where shenanigans happen and you just kind of get disappointed. I know a lot of people love the timeless Toni Storm character, but the character can be one thing, but the in-ring work is not really living up here. Deonna, I don't know. It just was like, okay. I mean, you could have gone to the bathroom and you really wouldn't have missed a whole lot in this match. But I'll give the floor to Mr. Clarke so we can talk about Wifey and praise her up and everybody who was in shock that Steve Macklin was backstage at AEW tonight, who's like, oh, he's going to AEW, he's leaving TNA, he was backstage, yada, yada, yada. He's married to Deonna Purrazzo, so he's been there more times than not. So, I don't know. Mr. Clarke, I'll let you have the floor.
I don't even know what to say. Everyone knows I love Deonna Purrazzo, but by the same token, we saw the writing on the wall even before she got to the company. We knew she was not winning this match. For whatever reason, Tony Khan has something for Toni Storm in this current iteration. It was an okay match, but it wasn't great. It was okay. And that's the problem. If you're the women's world champion, you should be having great matches on pay-per-views. If it was just a TV match, okay, you're setting up, you're building, that's one thing. But on a pay-per-view, and on a special pay-per-view like tonight, Sting's retirement match, where you have a whole audience there just to watch Sting. So, in other words, come for Sting, but stay for the wrestling. Stay for what should be great.
Yeah.
And they didn't provide. That's kind of the problem.
Well, and I know Toni Storm is not listed in some of the best women. Right now, I know a lot of people think she has a great character, but I know she's not, at this point in her career, is not on that list of the greatest women in professional wrestling. Now, when it comes to Deonna Purrazzo, and I haven't seen a whole lot of her, but I do know she is on that list of professional wrestling women right now, considered the best of the best. If you want to talk about the best of the best, her name is at the top of that list. With very few other names. I mean, as a wrestler, Mercedes Moné is a hot ticket item and a big name. Mercedes Moné as a wrestler, as a character, yes. I don't know if she lives up to that same hype as a Deonna Purrazzo, as great as Deonna Purrazzo is supposed to be looked at. I mean, I don't know who really is on that. Deonna Purrazzo might be the best women's wrestler, period, in wrestling right now. I mean, she is definitely, if not the top of that list, really close to it. And so when she comes out and we get these matches with her, and we're just like, no, this woman has got this hype, but they're not allowing her to live up to it, or she's not interested in putting in the effort. I don't know what is going on, because what we've gotten from her since she's come to AEW has not been.
I feel like she's working the best she can with what she's got, as far as her partners to work with. But
But she comes in with
But
all the
you wanna
hype and
see great-
fanfare.
You want to see good Deonna Purrazzo matches? You have to subscribe to Honor Club when she was in Ring of Honor. You have to subscribe to TNA Plus when she was in TNA. This is like,
But I mean, I'm not making this up. She is not. If she's not number one, she is one of the greatest women's wrestlers right now.
she's definitely in the conversation because she's a wrestler's wrestler.
Yes. And I can't think of anybody she really could, on the level that I can think of right now. I mean, Sasha Banks is great. We love Sasha Banks, but I don't even she's ring wise comparable to Deonna Purrazzo. There's a little bit of a gap there. I can't think of anybody. Let's see. WWE right now. I can't think of anybody in WWE women wise.
Just about everyone in WWE, every women's wrestler has pretty much at one point or another given praise to Deonna Purrazzo.
Yes, this is true. So I mean, Deonna Purrazzo is really high up there. So I mean, and she was wanted by both companies very badly. She just went to AEW, which I think she may be looking at going. This might not have worked out in my best interest. So we'll have to wait and see. Mr. D, your thoughts on the women's match?
Tonight should have been a night to steal the show, showcase, and still the damn show. Sold out crowd. You're there for Sting's last match. You want to be one of those matches that fans are talking about, like, oh crap, did you see that one?
Mhm.
They really brought it.
I do have to correct you on one thing. It was not sold out. Because even up to the last hour, they were selling tickets for as low as $9.
Either way, it's still good house.
Yes, no, they had over 15,000 people. But I'm going to be one of those assholes who's like, they didn't sell it out. Let's not.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
And that's more of a dig at Tony Khan than the people the wrestlers on the card. Like, the wrestlers did good tonight. It was better than average stuff. But I just have issues with Tony Khan, and I won't give him credit for a sold out house that he didn't really sell out.
But other than that,
that's a me thing, I know.
That's fine. And like I said, the women should have brought it. Especially Toni Storm, Deonna Purrazzo, both of them great in their own art. It's just you should have had a way to outshine everybody else on that card. We know, as Mr. Clarke would say, we know how good Purrazzo is.
Mm-hmm.
And then Toni Storm in her days at NXT and up until she left was really great in her own right. And I felt like this match fell flat.
Alrighty. And the match of the night. I mean, this is all you can say. This was the match of the night. This probably took a lot of steam out of everybody. Probably hurt the world title match a little bit because this match was it was the match of the night, but the only bad part is the Will Ospreay versus Takeshita match. Just as you expected this to be the match tonight. If you were going into watching this card, you knew this was going to be the match. You knew these two guys were going to bring everything. So it's like, it was a great match. It was an amazing match, but you knew these guys were going to bring it. So it's not like they did anything over the top. There were some great spots. There were some great moves where you're like, oh. But Will Ospreay came out to huge fanfare. Takeshita getting the boos. This was a fight between the brothers of the Don Callis family. This match, everything AEW needs to have in other matches. Yes, they started using finishers towards the end and kicking out, but I mean, it both made them look good. Ospreay struggled with hitting the hidden blade, but eventually got it. But I mean, this match was what you expected from Ospreay. It was what you expected from Takeshita. At that high level, they brought it at this high level. I don't think you can be mad at this match. This was the match of the night, promise guaranteed. If you want to, if anything, if you didn't watch this show, go back, watch this match, and you'll be good. You don't necessarily need to watch anything else. Was there some other good matches on here? Sure, but this was the highlight of the night. Will Ospreay and Takeshita. I think there's people out there who are saying you could really build AEW's future around these two. And after tonight, that's very much a fact. You could really build these two going forward. The only bad thing is I'm afraid that with the way Will Ospreay came out tonight, he could be heading to a title picture and on the title picture. And my only fear is once he wins the world title and loses the world title, what do you do with him? And of course, the story goes now, the match, him and Takeshita had their celebration moment, their recognition moment. Takeshita couldn't stand, so Will Ospreay got down on his knees and bowed to Takeshita. We thought maybe there would be some betrayal with the Don Callis family. Kyle Fletcher came down out of nowhere, not being really expected. At first, I think a lot of people didn't know what he was going to do. And as he's coming down to the ring before anything happens, they announced to us that on AEW Dynamite this Wednesday, Will Ospreay's going to take on Kyle Fletcher. So then it even made you more suspicious about what's going on. But then Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay hugged it out in the ring, and all of them went home happy. So it was really kind of bizarre. You're kind of like, I don't know why these two are fighting. Will Ospreay leave the Don Callis family? Are we building to that era? We will discuss that. Okay. Breaking news coming out of the scrum right now. Tony Khan has just made an announcement that after the show tonight, AEW Championship has been vacated. So, this is just coming out during the post-media scrum. Khan addressed the future of the championships. Khan revealed that the titles have officially been vacated, and there'll be a tournament soon to determine new champions. So officially, as of right now, the AEW Tag Team titles have been vacated. And we're going to have a tournament for the Tag Team titles. We didn't know if they were going to be vacated tonight, if we were going to have a moment with Sting. Well, I guess Sting's last title might happen, so I guess he wasn't going to be. I don't know if they were going to have Darby Allin come out and vacate the titles. I don't know. I don't think it was the right place to say it on the scrum. I think you want to get people to watch. You would have said, we will talk. I think he should have came on the scrum and said, we will clear up the title picture on Dynamite. You know how you open Dynamite? You have Sting's music play, and you have the titles in the center of the ring, and leave them just like do an opening where the titles have been laid in the ring and been officially vacated, and then let the announce team go. Sting and Darby Allin have vacated the titles. Now the Sting is officially retired, and you have something to open the show more than just be like, yeah, we're going to vacate the titles. I think if you would have saved that to Dynamite, you would have drawn some of the people from the show tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Just my thought.
It's a possibility.
Anyway,
Tony Khan doesn't think like that, apparently.
No. Will Ospreay gets the victory here. Takeshita takes his first loss in AEW, as far as I recall, in a one-on-one match. And great match. Mr. Z, these are your two boys, New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know these boys. Tell us what you were thinking.
Stiff as hell, man. It was. They lived up to what they can do. You let them go out there and steal the show. A lot of back and forth. That hidden blade, it just sounded nasty. The spot, the turnbuckle brainbuster. I thought he might have actually hurt that man, and I was like, "This is how it's going to end right now." But it didn't.
And that nasty bruise on Will Ospreay's back that they kept showing.
Yeah.
They did sell you a ticket.
I guess he showed it on the scrum too. Yeah.
Well, they had it on camera during the show, but I mean, they sold you a ticket. I thought maybe Cassidy was going to pull this out, that Will Ospreay was going to come in and take an L right out the door on the big pay-per-view. I mean, they really sold that story.
Overall, great match. Yeah, yes. It was great. It was this is going to be a match people are talking about. That's exactly how New Japan guys should be presented. Hard hitting, leaving it all out in the ring. It was done. But like you said before, I don't know why he's got to wrestle his boy on a Dynamite. We don't know what's going to happen. So we'll have to just wait and see.
Mr. Clarke, your thoughts?
Good match. I mean, definitely no complaints whatsoever. I wish more matches were, shown this way.
Yes.
When independent wrestling is more hard hitting than some of the stuff that's shown on AEW, you're just like, oof. But tonight was a credit to AEW for once.
Well, they told a good story in the ring with these two, even though it just worked. Unlike most of the AEW matches. Unlike the next match we're about to talk about, the AEW World Championship match, the three-way dance that was just horrible. Ended even just in a way that I think what they're trying to tell us makes Hangman Adam Page look even more of a booch, like he's just falling down the ladder of boochism to the bottom rank as the great booch. He's going to be the great leader of the booches at the Booch Hall. He's going to be the great booch.
Great booch.
I mean, I don't know how you end this. This match was just kind of mostly Swerve and Hangman. Here's the thing about this match. If you watch this match was it was a match between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve. Joe just happened to be there as the champion, and that's what this whole match's story was about. This is continuing the stupid, crappy storyline of Swerve and Hangman Page. And Joe just happened to be in the middle of it and was almost irrelevant and made the world championship look stupid. Joe wins after he locks Hangman in a coquina clutch. Swerve is getting reawoken by Nana. And he's starting to come over, and Hangman seems to sense this and taps out quickly. And the announce team tells you this. They go, did he tap out because he was afraid of getting injured? Did he tap out to keep the title from Swerve? So what you're telling me is a wrestler tapped out, decided to boot out, just to make sure the guy he doesn't like didn't win the title. He didn't care about winning the title, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because this is what Hangman's all about. I'm going to do whatever it takes to keep Swerve from the title, even if I can't win it. Even though he held the title at one point, nailed Swerve with it, and like, this is my title. You're never getting it. I don't know if Hangman's seeing Swerve or if he's seeing CM Punk at this point. I don't know. You can tell me. But this was a wasted match because this was about Swerve and Hangman, and Joe was just there. The world title was secondary to all of it, which makes the title look like a freaking joke to me. And if the storyline they're trying to tell me is Hangman tapped out just to make sure Swerve doesn't win it, that is horrible booking, in my opinion.
Real quick. This just reported, sent to me from someone at the Scrum. Big Business, Jay White, Darby Allin.
I mean, it'll be a good match, but I don't see what either gains from a story perspective.
Like I said, I'm just telling you what was sent to me.
No, I understand.
I understand that. I'm just kind of like, I don't know how that works out, because can you really let Darby take a pin? After coming off this hot feud, being strong, Sting retirement, you're talking a week after the retirement, and against Jay Lethal, who's pretty much a mid-card jobber at this point. I'm like, I don't know if you can let either of these guys lose, so I don't know what's going to happen in that match.
And another thing that was just sent to me too, Will Ospreay said during the Scrum he wants to retire Billy Gunn.
That's not much of a thing.
Why?
Like, okay.
I'm just a messenger.
We're not shooting the
I'm not shooting you, but I mean, you're gonna tell me shit. I mean, it's like me telling. Yeah, I mean, it's like me telling you that they're talking about Will Ospreay dancing with Orange Cassidy. I mean, you come at me and tell me Will Ospreay's worried about retiring Billy Gunn. Like, where do they even fit in relevancy? You know, what is Will Ospreay going to go find 5 other guys? Is he going to get the Aussie Open and some other boy? I guess he'll get the Aussie Open and then Powerhouse Hobbs, Takeshita, and the rest of the Don Callis family. Is that going to be the Super 6 group that take on the other Super 6 group? Is this how we're going to go? And does that really make Will Ospreay feel any more important? I mean, they just had a banger of a match with Takeshita, and then you're going to tell me he's worried about retiring Billy Gunn. Like, and if he said that, Will Ospreay's an idiot. And why are you worried about Billy Gunn?
And one last one. Tony Khan is like 3 cups deep stacked together. So we don't know what he's drinking during this Scrum, but he looks just lit.
Anyways. Back to the world title match, Mr. Z, since you wanted to speak up and tell us jokes. Tell me what you think about this world title match. And not good jokes. Will Ospreay wants to retire. Billy Gunn is not a good joke.
No, that wasn't a good joke. I'm just telling you what was said.
You need to call Adam Kutcher to help you with your jokes or your punk or whatever you're trying to pull here. Just don't let this Masterson get involved, because that's just bad news right now.
No. the AEW title match. Like you said, it was just, Joe was just there. It was, Swerve and Hangman, and then Hangman going out like a booch, for no reason. He took the L for what reason? What was the reason for it?
I can't tell you. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on the world
They've been
title?
telling us what the story is this whole time, which is the sad part. I guess Joe had to technically defend the title, so that's why you put Joe in.
I
but
just
the
didn't
match
know.
The whole time was about Swerve and I'm not gonna say that in there. Anywho,
The Booch Cowboy.
Between Swerve and Cowboy, yeah.
Brokeback Mountain Man. I mean, why are you putting Tony Khan on my show? Why do you have Tony Khan on my? Why are you showing Tony Khan on my show? Our show, the show.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait a minute there.
I know. You know how. It's my show. It's your show. Your show is my show, and it's the show.
I'm just telling you how he looks.
Ego and laughs.
Yes.
He's a running joke. We can't help it.
Anyways, Mr. Clarke, the world title match. Yeah, we knew that it was Swerve, but I just didn't think they'd make Joe look like a side note. I mean, as bad as ass as Joe is, as being one of the great wrestlers that's in this company, they kind of made him look like a joke by just putting him in the middle of this for absolutely no reason. And I feel like it diminishes the title a little bit because it wasn't the important factor of the night.
Absolutely, and that's the problem. Why did AJ wrong name MJF get over? Because he made himself the most important thing with the title.
Yes.
The company was behind him at the time. They're not behind Samoa Joe the way they need to be, and I don't understand why.
No, not at all.
They're behind. I mean, I understand. Hey, I like the idea of trying to elevate Swerve. I'm even okay with them using Hangman as a stepping stone because he is a former world champion and he did do good work. He did have some equity for a while, but the way they're booking Hangman now is just why? Yeah. What did we as the audience do wrong?
What did Hangman do wrong?
That's what I want to know. No, what did we as the audience do wrong to deserve this crap?
I know. We let Tony Khan book a show?
This crap.
Jeez.
Anyways, from there, it's time to talk about the AEW World Title match. It's for the tag team title. It's a tornado match. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, no longer labeled as the Young Bucks. They come out to their music in their black and white golden edged robes, in their black and red pajamas. They were Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the EVPs. Nothing in their new entrance said Young Bucks, so we've moved away from the Young Bucks. It's just Matthew and Nicholas
yes and no,
Jackson.
Because on the bottom of the screen, it still said like the Young Bucks in small print.
Well,
said
on their screen entrance.
But you're right, that's not the biggest selling point anymore.
Yeah, well, the announce team called them by name, and they never said Young Bucks tonight, so. I was. Did they? Okay, I didn't catch it. I not that I necessarily was listening to them through most of this match, because some of this was just bad. Anyways, we got Darby Allin. He came out. Oh, no, Ric Flair came out first and had his own entrance. He came down, and then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat got an entrance because he was a special timekeeper. Okay, I didn't know that. Then why was he up on the apron? Anyways, not important. Darby Allin got his entrance, and then we got a 10-minute montage at a movie theater, and I guess Tony Khan likes that old 40s, 30s silent film-esque vibe because Sting walked into a theater, they opened the curtains, and they did a montage to music that I was like, I wish they would have done something a little different with the music. I get the time era and what they were trying to do, so it's okay. And they played a bunch of pictures and slight videos of Sting's time at AEW. They tried to play some of his video footage from New Japan Pro Wrestling when he was there. They tried to make it look like it was old WCW era stuff. Well, that I'm sure was a couple private pictures from Sting's personal collection. It was great. I don't know if I needed this as a pre-entrance to Sting's entrance. Like, I guess you could use this as a video package to start the show or something, instead of like here, because it just made it so much longer. It was like you were eating time. Sting, and I'm like, we just want to get to this. Give us Sting. I get the midi. You could have played this after the match was over. You could have played this on Dynamite the week before. But this would have been a great thing to open the show with. Oh, this was Sting's last match. Give us Sting walking in the theater, and then have him say, "It's showtime." Would have still, and then we could have started the show. You would have still got the same effect that you wanted out of that. It ends and Sting goes, "It's showtime," and we get Sting. Initially we get Surfer Sting in the red, white, and blue outfit that Sting wore, blonde hair. And I think it confused everybody briefly because we're like, that's not Sting. And then we got Wolfpack Sting, oddly enough, because I guess he's dressed normally too much like NWO Sting. So we got Wolfpack Sting, sort of. Anyways, later we found out it was Sting's kids that were dressed up like him. And then we got Sting's Seek and Destroy music. I still think Tony Khan should have pushed in the extra money to actually have James and Lars Metallica come out and play that song to play Sting down live. That would have been awesome. You want to talk about a crowd that would have gone nuts if you would have had Metallica, even if it was just James and Lars, as far as we cared, to come out and play this man down to Seek and Destroy. I think that place would have erupted, that roof would have blown off that place. Anyway, Sting comes down to Seek and Destroy. Basically, Sting and Darby Allin in the first half of this match are just throwing the Young Bucks around. Sting's boys are trying to do stinger splashes. One was really bad. The other one flew from halfway across the ring to the turnbuckle. I was like, oh, I thought he would train these boys up a little better, Sting, to do this. This is a good, solid match. At one point, we got glass in here. We got about 3 or 4 sheets of glass. I can't tell you if it was real glass. It's also suspectable, or if it was fake glass. But we got glass in this. Sting broke some glass with a bat. Eventually, Darby Allin went flying off a ladder through a plate of glass through 6 or 8 chairs and cut himself open so bad that boy, I don't even know how that boy's going to wrestle at Big Business, because he's still going to have probably massive staples in his back from the night he was gushing out some blood. I mean, it wasn't just the red blood. Some of those spots were that dark red blood, where you get a little more concerned about it. But the Young Bucks, or the Jackson Boys, whatever they're freaking called, don't really care. The EVP toys come out. Eventually, they got up. They hit multiple EVP triggers. Sting, they eventually get Sting down, and Ric Flair comes crawling in the ring. And huddles over Sting as the Young Bucks are trying to take Sting out. He's like, no. For the first time in Ric Flair's life, he's screaming no at somebody. It looked bad. I'm like, why would, eventually they super kicked Ric Flair in the head. So then I thought maybe we had 2 dead old timers in the ring. The combined age of the people in the ring tonight and outside the ring around there were probably, if you combine their age, it would out total the rest of the whole roster in AEW at this point, including Tony Khan and age. But eventually, then Ricky Dragon Steamboat got on the apron and got kicked for his job, and then Sting got a super kick, and then Sting must be watching TNA because he pulled off his own PCO version where he was like this about to fall, and then he comes back up. Eventually, he hits a jet drop. They kick out. Then Darby Allin, coated in blood on his back, hits a coffin drop on Matt. And we get another Stinger, Scorpion Death Drop. And then Sting eventually locks Matthew into the Scorpion Death Lock. And Matthew Jackson, the EVP, taps out like a sissy boy. And Sting and Darby Allin head out tonight as still AEW Tag Team Champions. The match went 21 minutes, 32 seconds. They were the AEW Tag Team Champions walking out. Darby Allin got on the mic and said the show had 3 minutes left. Sting started talking to everybody. Are you signing? This is catchy. Singing. Oh, singing. Okay. Eventually, with the Sting, and Sting started talking about Greensboro. I can't tell you who said Greensboro more, Jay White or Sting tonight. Am I going crazy? I don't know if you're going crazy. Let me see. Do I sound like I'm singing? Let me check something. It'll be an interesting show. Okay, that's why. Wow. So I've been singing all night. Great.
You didn't do that on purpose?
No.
Oh, wow. I thought you...
Did you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
That's why we're laughing.
Why didn't you guys tell me that?
We
were
told
laughing
you.
at you even before we went on air. And
I
you
never
said
heard
why
it.
You were laughing.
No, I never heard you guys say it.
Wow.
I didn't realize the voice machine was on.
It was a special edition of the
Yep.
show.
No, I didn't know it was on the magic cord. The voice thing that helps control noise cancellation and everything. Usually I have it on clean. Well, hey, I mean, if it was entertaining to people and it got over, then I guess we win. But yeah, no, I have a voice over, or I have a voice mod system, and it was on magic cord, which makes the reverberation which you guys hear. And I can't hear myself.
I have a fan saying, "Go back, go
Go
back."
back.
To go. Yeah.
Anyways, no, that was not intentional. I never caught you guys or what you were laughing about. I guess I was. You guys didn't directly go. Yep. I missed all that, so I've done a whole show of singing. That's going to be an interesting one. Awesome. That's a voice mod. Yes.
Yeah, like you're on auto tune kind of BS.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I that's only usually done for our you know, this is the value of wrestling. This, you know.
Yeah, the intro.
Yep. That's singing chords. So yeah, it makes everything sound like I'm trying to sing it. Wow. My own buddies setting me up for failure. Thank you. Wow. You have to go back and watch that, bro. I'm going to go back and watch it at some point because now I have to see how big of a fool I am. Great. Wow. You guys tried to tell me? Where did I miss this conversation?
It's before we went on air.
Yeah.
Miguel and I were laughing, and we were saying to you why we were laughing, why we were busting up.
I never caught it. I didn't even know what you guys were laughing at. I thought you were just laughing. I was like, okay, I just kind of blew it off. I didn't care. Yes. No, that's singing chord. Yay. I didn't even know it was on. Awesome. Anyway, it's a world title match. The tag team titles, not the world title, the tag team title match. Sting and Darby Allin get the win. It was a match that you would expect between these two in a tornado tag match. It went all over the place. And of course, now it's been announced on the media scrum that Darby Allin and Sting have vacated the titles. And so there'll be a tournament starting at some point for the new tag team champion. Now that I'm done singing, my voice left me to just describe this as awesome more and more. We appreciate your subscription. We thank you for joining the Value Wrestling family. I'm glad I can entertain you. Hopefully this brings in more subscribers. Go ahead and share this out. Tell everybody the singing pool was on Value Wrestling. It's awesome. The whole time. Wow. This is going to be a show to talk about for the ages.
So now down the line, we have to have Big Time go on The Masked Singer.
There you go. Wow. Somebody take it from here. Tell me what you think.
I'll go ahead. I'll shoot this one real quick. It was a spot fest. I was told by a few people that they don't understand why Sting's last match has to be a spot monkey fest.
Really? They couldn't figure that one out? After
They
working
don't
his whole AEW time, his whole AEW career, they couldn't figure that one out?
Yeah, exactly. But Darby Allin damn near killed himself.
Yes.
I'm glad Sting went over. I mean, it made sense, but I don't get why you had the retirees step in when they did. It didn't make any sense. Ric Flair looked like he was about to start crying, and then Cell's being dead. Cell's being dead.
Yeah.
There's a picture of him right now of him laying on the mat still. I mean, but if that's the way they wanted to go, then that's fine. I mean, Sting winning, going over, I'm cool with that. You could have had him come out and retire the belts a different way instead of announcing it on the scrum. Give that man a little more flowers. Let him walk away. But I'm not the Booker man, so I don't know.
The biggest, and I don't want to say necessarily the most important pop, but I guess for me personally, the biggest pop was the fact that they went with the WCW Metallica Seek and Destroy music. Because outside of the Man Called Sting, which is his original WCW theme, that is what he was most associated with. And it's like, yeah, his AEW music is cool. Yeah, his TNA music was cool. But neither one of those get the same pop as Seek and Destroy.
Yeah,
and so perfect. The fact that that was the music that they wound up using for his actual entrance, I was like, thank you. Y'all guys did right. I didn't know Tony Khan would do that right. And yes, as Big Time had spoke about earlier, it would have been even better if Metallica could have played it live. But that's also assuming they were available. Tony Khan has some money, so he ain't got no excuse there. So I just kind of chopped that up to maybe they weren't available. The match itself, I was a little surprised to see the glass panes. I'm like, I didn't know this was going to turn into a GCW match. ECW, insert extreme hardcore here.
Mm-hmm.
But at least it was only glass panes, and it wasn't all these other millions of different things that we didn't need to see. Ladder was bad enough.
Shoe.
I mean, they could have taken it so many other places. I'm glad they didn't. On the extreme side, it was good. It was dramatic for what it was meant to be. Some of the old timer guests, like seeing them would have been cool, but their involvement, I could have gone without. But overall, I think, especially for his time in AEW, it was a fitting end for Sting's career.
He still can't get over the fact he was singing the whole show.
Anyway.
Oh, jeez.
Now that you guys want to have fun, I think we can have fun. This is Value Wrestling. We might as well have fun while we're at it. I wonder what it sounds like. Hold on. Dave Meltzer's at the media scrum behind the table with Tony Khan, so we're going to get...
Look here, Alvin. Dave is calling for you.
Hey, every once in a while, you gotta have a little fun, and since I've already been set up for failure. What else is here? What else would be cool? A scary teddy bear. Oh, boy. You want chipmunk, I don't know where the chipmunk went. There used to be a chipmunk. This is baby, so... But hey, let's see here. Kong, triple star, but no. This has been Value Wrestling. This has been your AEW Revolution post show.
Sounds like Via Jax, doesn't he?
You know what, you son of a biscuit cow? You're fired!
You knew that was coming the moment you said it. The return of the gimmick.
Hey, yo, stop and listen.
Oh, Lord.
Did you know? Yes, I think you should know.
It's that panty dropper voice. That deep.
Oh, you didn't know? Yes, it's been Value Wrestling. Let's start here for AEW Revolution 2024. Out there, it's going to get fired on you can.
Soon we'll go back over here since everybody likes it when I sing along. So go back to singing of the sets. Okay, for you, the real Wyatt, we'll go back to a little bit of singing in the rain.
That privilege to sing along with Big Time.
Yes, it's time to sing along with the Big Time. It's Value Wrestling right here on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share this out with friends, family, and everybody you know that loves the world of professional wrestling. Make sure you ring that bell for notification. Gives us a thumbs up so we can get out in the algorithm. And as always, we thank you for being here. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for all your comments in the comment section below. Welcome to the newest subscriber, The Real Wyatt. Thank you for becoming part of the Value Wrestling family. Ladies and gentlemen, Miguel Z, Paulus, Clarke, this is the Value Wrestling on the Big Time. Is there anything else we need to say tonight, gentlemen, before we wrap this up? Since you guys let me go over an hour like this.
First off, thank you, Sting.
Yes. Thank you, Sting. I think that's the best way to close this out. been a diehard Sting fan all the way back to the 90s, if not the 80s. I mean, I've seen Sting do it all. Sting, I love Surfer Sting, the Icon Sting. I love the story when Sting became Sting, or the Loner Sting. I mean, that was one of the best stories in history. Even his best friend didn't trust him. And Sting turned, and only one other person was ever close to doing the same thing Sting did many, many, many years later, and that was AJ Styles when they had the Aces and Eights, and Sting played that same style of role where his friends didn't trust him, so he went out on his own, and those are probably two of the best ever to really pull that storyline off and do it right. So, any final statements other than thank you, Sting? Thank you, Sting. Thank you, Sting.
Thank you, Sting. Thank you, Sting.
Thank you. Sting.
It's been an honor and privilege, and it's a sad day for some of us as we say goodbye to the Stinger. But for now, yes, it's definitely in the end. But for now, we're going to say goodnight. So long, Purrazzo, right here for the Value of Wrestling on the big time. We're along with Miguel Z, Mr. Clarke. Come back tomorrow night. We're going to have your Monday night review show with me and Mr. Clarke. We're going to break down everything that went down on Monday night, right after Monday night. Tuesdays, you can catch Mr. Miguel Z here with your New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound podcast, where he breaks down everything going on in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Wednesdays, of course, we'll cover up all the other stuff that's going to be the fallout of Revolution that'll happen on Dynamite, where supposedly the rumor and the speculation is that Kazuchika Okada will be making his debut in AEW. Okada. Anyways, anyhow, I'm happy to
Hey, this ain't Disco Inferno stuff.
Staying alive, staying alive. Staying alive. Anywho, dance party. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to happen. We'll be back on Friday with your SmackDown review show. And we're getting ready for the road to WrestleMania. The Rock's supposed to be on SmackDown again this week and next week. And of course, on Thursdays, Mr. Clarke brings you the preview of the week, where he talks about everything that's going
preview.
Yes, the weekend preview, where he talks about everything going on in the week of wrestling, along with several other shows that I'm sure will come out. And there may be big time rants during the week. If there's any big breaking news, we're going to bring that to you too. We appreciate you. We hope to see you on the next one. We went 1 hour, 30 minutes on the show. We are really building up. We appreciate everybody. Let's make this happen. But for now, let's say goodnight. Purrazzo.
It's your boy Miguel Z with the Value of Wrestling.